I'd be lying to you if I didn't say I've never had my desire to play Overwatch truly hit zero before until this exact moment.
Overwatch is dead. Marvel Rivals killed it. I mean, Necros already declared it dead earlier.
Overwatch is dead.
How am I supposed like to look at that and then be like, hey, all right guys, let's go play some Overwatch now. Yippee.
It's 2025. Get with the fucking times. No one's playing Overwatch. Game's dead.
I know Overwatch gets a lot of hate, but personally, I don't think it gets enough. Overwatch creators work harder than game devs. It's like watching your beloved child slowly grow into a drug addict with no future.
It's no surprise that Overwatch 2 is the most negatively reviewed game on Steam. Take a look at this bar chart for the time taken for games to reach 20 million players. On the x-axis are some of the most popular video games, and on the y-axis, the amount of time it took for them to reach 20 million players. First, we have everyone's favorite game, Minecraft, which took a whopping 1,095 days. Next to it, PUBG, which took 240 days, Overwatch 150, Fortnite 50 days, Apex 14, and most popular, Warzone, which just took 10 days. Marvel Rivals was released on December 5th, 2024, and reached 20 million players in just 11 days. Rivals is on a generational run, and this is why. At its core, it's a 6v6 hero shooter with similar objectives as Overwatch: capture the point and push the payload. And instead of first person, it's third person, which fits the game perfectly. Right away, there's no role queue in competitive mode, so you queue into a game and can select any of the 3 classes you want to play. This is nice because in Overwatch you are forced into something called role queue, which is just one class for the entire game, and you'd get tired of playing that same class. In Rivals, you're able to play any character in any class you want and even switch to any mid-game. Overwatch players have been wanting bans for a very long time, and they never really got it in competitive mode. In Marvel Rivals, they have hero bans, which is such a breath of fresh air. However, the banning system only applies to diamond rank players and above, so players from bronze to platinum don't have the ability to ban. A ban system is great and all, but what truly makes Marvel Rivals work is a team that listens. Which brings us to the next part that makes Rivals so good, and that's the dev team. In addition to the ban system, on their official website, they post hero pick and win rates. They pay close attention to this, and if there's anything out of the ordinary, they'll fix it. The most important aspect of any game are the devs, and Rivals has one of the best development teams.
So it's actually super huge news that they refined the sound mixing. That's really what I wanted to hear. It just seems like this game is like, they just know what they're doing, man. It's one of my only complaints next to performance. So they actually know that this was exactly my complaints. This is perfect, man.
Nearing the halfway point of Season 1, players would have been dropped 7 ranked divisions. So, for example, if you're Diamond 3, you'll drop down to Silver 1. If you don't know, each season is divided into 2 halves, separated by content drops. For instance, the start of Season 1 was the new map plus Mr. Fantastic and Invisible Woman, and the halfway mark released the Human Torch and the Thing. Because of this, there was debate in the community about whether they should change this or leave it. Eventually, the dev team released a blog post acknowledging this and made a change towards this rank reset. Rather than dropping 7 ranked divisions, you would only drop 4. So if you're Diamond 3, you'll go down to Gold 1. However, the community still debated this, and in less than 24 hours, the devs released another blog post finally stating that there will be no rank reset. The devs are passionate about the game and are constantly fixing issues as quickly as possible. On February, queue times were longer than usual. Instead of the instant match found, it took about a minute or 2. The community pointed this out, and the next day they fixed it and gave everyone 200 credits. This is what people said on Reddit when asked about why Marvel Rivals was doing so well compared to other games.
Ironically, because Rivals takes a lot of inspiration from Overwatch. When people say, this is just Widowmaker, or this is just Lucio, or Genji, or Reinhardt, they're right. Marvel purposefully made characters feel very familiar. This was a genius move because it allowed players to seamlessly translate to Rivals without even thinking about it. Not only Overwatch 2 has been having problems and was killed by the devs, now you got the Marvel IP, great graphics, skins, and honestly a top-tier art direction, and the hero you like in Rivals plays exactly the same as the one you like in Overwatch 2? Switch-in games becomes a no-brainer.
It's easily accessible to people that have played Overwatch thanks to its similarities. In the same vein, people are sick of Overwatch and Blizzard shit. The IP is one of the most popular in the world.
I don't have a real answer, but I imagine it helps that everyone playing Overwatch was wishing they had a game like Overwatch that was better than Overwatch.
From March to November 2024, Overwatch 2 players on Steam averaged around here, which is about 50,000 players every day. We can see that there are multiple spikes, and that is due because of the start of a new season. Marvel Rivals was released on Steam on December 6th, 2024, and averaged around 400,000 players every day, which makes sense because most players on PC play on Steam, whereas in Overwatch 2, most players on PC use Battle.net. Regardless, look at what happens to the Overwatch player graph from November 2024 to January 2025. On the other hand, Marvel Rivals peaks at over 600,000 players on January 11th, while Overwatch 2 players sit at around 30,000. Although this data isn't entirely accurate, as most Overwatch 2 players use Battle.net and not Steam, it's an interesting fact nonetheless. Unlike Overwatch, Marvel Rivals has a whole catalog of heroes they can pick and choose from. What I mean by that is that they don't have to invent a character out of thin air. Marvel doesn't have to worry about creating a new unique character design with their own separate story, because they already have it. They could just open a comic, flip to a random page, and pick that person. That being said, it also helps that the player already knows who the character they're playing is and is somewhat familiar with.
The developer talked about how the genre of hero shooters is inherently a popular thing, but the games need to have a hook. In this case, the Marvel IP being implemented so well out of the gate is the reason something like this succeeds where Concord failed. The characters are relatively balanced. Fuck you, Iron Fist. Their abilities are fun and a healthy mix of reskinned Overwatch abilities for immediate familiarity, alongside some unique abilities. And it doesn't seem to be a cash grab. Forever owned Battle Pass content and quite a few launch freebies via partner promo codes is nice to see. However, we'll see if they keep this philosophy beyond Season 0.
Game. So in Overwatch, I kind of stuck with Genji for like 8 years because I just feel like there wasn't anything really in his style other than DPS Doom, which I didn't pick up because I was just having way too much fun with Genji. But in Rivals, I feel like I have 7 different versions of Genji, so I'm just looking forward to version 8 and 9 and 10.
This makes it extremely friendly and approachable for casual players. But here's the thing. Something that Marvel Rivals does well that no one else does are the team-up abilities. If you play certain characters together in the same team, you get buffs. For instance, if Spider-Man and Venom are on the same team, Venom buffs Spider-Man by giving him an extra ability. These combinations allow for more strategies around how players build their comps. Another massive part of Rivals is the map's destructibility. You can break certain walls, roofs, ceilings, pillars, and other parts of the map simply by shooting them. This is something that not really any other game of this type has done, and it's quite interesting. It's good in the way that it opens more angles, provides more challenges to players on how to deal with this, and in turn opens up opportunities for plays.
I'm truly baffled that this game isn't just a blatant cash grab. Feels like whatever companies they have working on this game, the devs truly have passion and drive with it. Updates and events already, I'm having fun, and I can't wait for more.
Since the game is new, there's so much to discover, there's so much to learn, it's fresh and fun to figure out new things. But is the hype going to last, or is it just going to die after a certain period of time, just like many others? Because if Marvel Rivals continues what it's doing, it might just become one of the biggest competitive shooters of the decade.